If you've ever thought to yourself or have heard anybody else say, I wish I could just see all my information in one place, well, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to talk about how you can do that using your existing technology. Hi, I'm Ralph Nickisher, and welcome to Initiate, a no-cost education tool for local government where we explore trends and how to do things with your existing technology. Today we're going to talk about how you can start centralizing your information in one place using your existing Microsoft 365 license. We're going to do this using two Microsoft technologies, Microsoft SharePoint and Microsoft Teams. I'm going to first talk about what Microsoft SharePoint is, what Microsoft Teams is, and then finally we're going to do a demonstration of how we can integrate these two tools so your staff or yourself can have everything in one place. So you can start centralizing it, you don't have to bounce around to different systems. When you think about Microsoft SharePoint, you can think about it in two different aspects. The first aspect is it's a place for you to collaborate with your peers within your community. Think of like an intranet. So you can develop different pages associated with the different things that you're trying to do in your community. You can set up the pages for different departments in your community. You can set up an all department page, and that's where you can start publishing things out for your staff to see. The second way to think about Microsoft SharePoint is a place to store your data, a place to store your files. And hopefully you're doing that in a way that you can organize your files a lot easier. You can organize them by departments and put certain governance in place to make it easy to find different files. Now, Microsoft Teams, most of us think of Microsoft Teams as the place to do video calls, to chat with our other team members, a place to set up teams, to do different tasks and to share files. But really, Microsoft Teams is much more than that. It's a platform that allows you to integrate a bunch of different tools, Microsoft SharePoint being one of those tools that you can integrate into it. So the main thing here is Microsoft Teams is an integration platform. It can do much more than just chatting and video calls. And when you start integrating things into Microsoft Teams, it gives you the ability to do most of your productivity work in this tool. So you're not bouncing around from a bunch of different systems trying to find different files. You can just do it all here from Microsoft Teams. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how this plays out. We are taking a look at a SharePoint site. This SharePoint site is called All Staff. So this is for all departments, all employees within this community. They can come to this page and find just the general information that they need. Again, this is very comparable to what you would think as like an intranet site or an intranet page where you can get information regarding different benefits and policies, some training resources. You can also see what is going on in the community with like news posts or happenings as we call it here. We have a calendar that is showing any events that are coming up. We are getting close to Memorial Day here, so we see that holiday on the calendar. You see Juneteenth on there, Independence Day, so we're showing our holidays here. From the All Staff page, you can then navigate to all of the department sites as well. And the thing about SharePoint is it's not just an intranet, it also has the ability to store all of your files as well. So I'm taking a look at the file stored behind the All Staff site, and we have things like photos and policy and purchasing and reports and training as well. So what you typically used to see in like your file server, this all gets put into SharePoint, and then you have the ability to stand up these pages to make it easy for your staff to find the different resources that they need. So you can develop this stuff out in SharePoint, but if you want to keep your staff all in one place, you then integrate that with Microsoft Teams. So I've pulled up Microsoft Teams here. I've integrated SharePoint into it. So on the left-hand side, I have all of the activity that is going on. I get alerts when I get new notifications or chats or messages posted towards me. I also have the ability to chat. I have all my calendar integrated here, so I can get to my meetings, my video calls that I have on Microsoft Teams. I also have my software phone integrated with Microsoft Teams, so I can dial people out. I can give them a call as well. Right now I'm going to focus on the Teams tab. So in this community, I am a member of all of the different department teams. So we have the All Staff team, we have Administration, Community Development, Finance, Fire, Human Resources, Police, and Public Works. So in this example, I'm a member of all these teams, so I can see the files and the posts, the chats, all of the information related to all of these departments, just because I'm a member of all those teams. In actuality, if somebody's a member of one of these departments, all they would see here is just the all staff department and the department they're associated with. Now, Microsoft has a paradigm in which you should organize your teams and the groups behind these teams based on how your organization is set up. So in local government, we found the best way to do this is based on your departments. So set up your teams based on your departments, and then use the channels underneath that to create divisions within that department where you may want to silo off some information based on that specific division, or just have lines of communication open between members of that division, and that won't cloud up the overall department's portion of Microsoft Teams. So here I have the all staff team. When I click on the general channel here, it just brings up any of the posts that we are putting out associated with all departments. So this is where you would publish things out like, oh, the cookout is coming up. We're going to do a barbecue here on March 16th, and you can alert every staff member in the community that this is coming up. So this is a place for anybody to post. You can do interesting things like submit polls and stuff just to get people's perspective internally. On this next tab here, you have all of the files associated with the all staff team. So you're going to want to have some good governance around your folders and your files here. Again, most of us have experienced, I know I have when I was in local government, a file serve that was really hard to find where stuff was. So you want to have good governance around the folders that you set up, make sure folks are trained on where they should save different files and information that is relevant to them. The good thing about integrating this with Microsoft Teams, you can use the search bar at the top and you can search for any of the files and folders that you have access to, and it'll return those results, which makes finding something a whole heck of a lot easier. So in this example, I'm going to search for the policy, and I see it brings me to the uniform policy. I'm a member of the Public Works group, so I can then see the uniform policy here. So finding files and information is so much easier when you do this through Microsoft Teams. Next, I'm going to show the home page, which is developed in SharePoint. We took a look at that a little bit earlier, but I've integrated this with Microsoft Teams. So somebody doesn't have to remember to go to their SharePoint URL. They don't have to have the bookmark when they open up their web browser. They just pull up Microsoft Teams. They can go to the All Staff team, click the Home tab, and it's going to bring them to their SharePoint site. So this is where they can find the typical intranet stuff, benefits, policies, training materials, procurement, all that kind of stuff is going to be located all within Microsoft Teams. I've now logged in as a user in Public Works, so let's take a look at what a specific individual in a department, what their experience would be with this type of setup. So now I'm signed in as a Public Works employee, so I'm going to demonstrate what their experience with this type of setup will be. I'm still using Microsoft Teams, but you'll notice I have less access available to the different departments. By setting up your organization based on the different departments you have, it makes granting permissions to specific people and specific roles much easier. So as a Public Works employee, I should not have access to any of the sensitive public safety records that are out there. And because this is set up based on my department, I can see just the information that is relevant to my department, Public Works, but I also can still see the all staff intranet page as well. Here we're looking at the all staff intranet page. So I still have access to this, all the typical intranet stuff, benefits, policies, but I can also see the Public Works team, and I can go there and see things that are relevant just to Public Works. So the posts that are here are specific to Public Works. There's a trenching and shoring training that is coming up. Irma's coming in to do this training. So I can see this, and somebody had posted that, hey, mark your calendars, that this thing is coming up. The files that are associated with this team are specific to the Public Works department. So I have this department policy folder here, and only folks that are members of the Public Works team have access to this. So you can put sensitive information and apply different security levels based on a person's role within the organization. And then last, again, because SharePoint is integrated with this, I can create a department-specific page that is integrated with Microsoft Teams. So my people in Public Works can just focus on the stuff that is relevant to them. So here I have a vehicle inventory. Our uniform policy is here. I have some upcoming events. We have that trenching and shoring training that's coming up on next Tuesday at 7 a.m. I also have some news updates about some construction that is going on, so I can centralize this information and put just what is relevant to my department. So we can take a look at this vehicle inventory, and now we're starting to centralize our data all within the Microsoft 365 platform, which means I can get to all of this stuff right from Microsoft Teams. I'm not going to somebody's Excel file that is, I need them to email me or share a link out to that thing. It's all centralized here in Microsoft Teams. So anybody in the department can pull up our vehicle inventory. So if any questions come up or if they need to grab the VIN number or something, they can do that with relative ease. I'm going to go back to our main Public Works page here. Again, this is SharePoint behind this, just integrated with Microsoft Teams. Now you may have some examples where you have sensitive information, sensitive files like personnel records or payroll that you don't want to expose to everybody. And by setting up your teams with channels based on specific divisions within your department, you then have the ability to isolate data, isolate communications that you may have with folks. So in this example, we have an administration channel, so only folks that are supervisors or above would get access. That's why you have this lock here. This is a private channel with only specific access to specific people. And you can ask questions of these different groups. You know, in this example I have, has everybody completed payroll for the 429 payroll? And then your team members can respond to that. And not everybody in Public Works is going to see that. Maintenance workers won't see this. Only people that are supervisors that are assigned to the administration channel would see this. This is where you can put sensitive data as well. So you can put files related to payroll, or if you had procurement or bids or something that you didn't want everybody to have access to, you can then store the data here so it is then secure, and not everybody will have access to it, just in case somebody does some deletions or does something you wouldn't want them to. So this is just a quick overview of how you can integrate Microsoft SharePoint with Microsoft Teams. Again, SharePoint, think of that as your intranet. You can develop internal pages that you can surface information that is relevant to your community, to your department, and it also serves as a file storage place. Again, you're going to want to really think critically about how you set up your folders and how you organize your data. We'd strongly recommend you set up your SharePoint site around departments, and then when you integrate that with Microsoft Teams, it makes it a lot easier to assign the people to the appropriate teams, and then gives your people just one simple place to go to do all of their productivity work. They don't have to bounce around between different systems. They don't have to remember a bunch of different links or URLs. You can integrate all of that here in Microsoft Teams. So that's all they need to launch in the morning to see their productivity, to find files, and you can even start building out different applications that you could stand up here and put those tabs on the top. You can link out different websites if you do have external systems that you need to use. You can start adding those tabs here into Microsoft Teams as well. So again, you have an integrated one-stop shop, for lack of a better term, experience for your staff that is going to make things a lot easier and deliver a much better experience for them. So don't forget to click the subscribe button to learn more about Microsoft Teams, Microsoft SharePoint, your Microsoft 365 environment as a whole, and other technology tips and trends that are going on in local government.